The next thing I'd like to dig into a little bit is that chat aspect. I think it's one of the kind of mysteries of the world of marketing. In my opinion, a lot of people have the opportunity to chat, but they don't. A lot of people don't know how to do it and not sound like super sleazy or salesy, right? I think we've all experienced that cold DM that just felt off. And you knew from the start, you were like, "Ooh, I don't like this. This is not what I signed up for. I don't know you." Right. And no one wants to make other people feel that way. And so we avoid chat, right? We avoid the medium entirely out of fear. But I think there is a right way to do it.
Mhm.
It's a powerful tool. So I'd love to chat a little bit about chat in general.
Yeah, I love chat. So, yeah. Did you have a specific question
I'd love to
or
just hear kind of your framework, your methodology of how you use chat, what works and what doesn't work.
cool. Yeah, so there's two big principles that I use. The first is understanding why we're even chatting in the first place.
Mm,
And for me, a big piece of that is just connecting cool people with solutions that could help them. And that's all you're doing at the end of the day. And it's yes, there's going to be a cost associated with that solution. Just like if you're going to Chipotle and you want a burrito, you're going to have to pay for it. You can't just walk in and be outraged that they're going to charge you for food. The same thing goes with your professional services or programs or any offers that you're selling. You're helping people out. And because you have that information and experience to get them those results, there's a cost associated with that. So that's the first thing, that you're always reaching out to like make people better and not just try and try and be desperate for a sale and pitch slap people out of the blue or have that commission breath that really turns people off. The second piece is whenever I see anyone that's struggling with sales, it's because they're focusing on sales instead of sorting. So we had someone come to us at an event who he was getting his reps in. He was a young kid in college, selling insurance, and he wanted to know the secret words to whisper into a prospect's ear to get them to say yes 10 out of 10 times. And those words don't exist. But what we did is we went to him and we said, "Hey, well, how are you finding these people? What are you saying to them?" And he was just reaching out to everyone on his social media. He was very indiscriminate about that. And it's because you're not supposed to focus on selling to make sales. You're really sorting for the people who are the best fit. And I heard this in the past from Alex Ramosi, and I thought it was such a good example of this, where he was saying on one of his podcasts that if he had a time machine and he can go 10 years back into the future to 10 years younger Alex Ramosi and convince him to invest in Bitcoin with all of his life savings before it, like 10x went on that huge run and sell before it dropped completely, he would have a lot of conviction because he would know A, that this is 100% the right move for this person because he knows exactly what the result's going to be. He knows exactly where he's starting from, and he knows all the opportunities along the way where he could have used that extra money in business ventures, in investments, in whatever. And so the reason I share that is because whenever you're talking to someone, if you can chat with them to find out more information and also make them feel heard and understood, then you'll have a much easier time not only getting them to say yes to the sale, but know exactly if they're a good fit to get the results you're promising with either your coaching or your service.
I love that. The sorting, not sales mentality. I find
Mhm.
that like even an email, right? That's one of the things that I notice, especially with small business owners, is they blast out sales emails to everybody. And obviously the unsubscribes come through and like there's right. And I think there's a time and a place for broadcast emails to your whole list. And there's a time when we need to narrow in and really segment your list. And
Yep.
the whole goal along the way is to identify in your list, okay, who are the people who this product or service is most relevant to, who they're going to be most ready to learn about it and to move forward with. And I think, you know, one of the challenges for me in particular that I'd like to chat about in terms of DM and that sorting mentality is how do you get more information without the other person thinking like, oh, they're just trying to figure out whether they can sell me or not. How do you come to those conversations where you don't sound like you're a VA bot chat being like, "Hey, how much money do you make? Where do you," like all the same questions that we
Yeah.
all had, right? So what have you learned about being able to collect information from people and do that sorting while still being like your authentic and true self?
Yeah, so a lot of it, I would even say like 80% of it happens based on the frame.
Mm,
So if you're putting out if you're coming across as more of a trusted advisor, then people will trust you. You always in chat, you always get back what you put out. And so whenever we go through chat, it relies heavily on something that Seth Godin term coined as permission-based marketing of just we're gonna ask you questions. The reason why we're asking these questions is to find out if this is even a good fit. And we're always asking people if it makes sense to move forward, especially at the beginning, especially when you're starting. And so if you don't have a lot of inbound leads and you're focusing on outbound, it could be as simple as saying, "Hey, thanks for." Ideally, they're warm and they're not completely cold out of the blue, so you have a reason to message them, and you have something that you could connect to them on. Whether they just followed you, whether they commented on something that you were engaging with, or even if you have like a mutual acquaintance of just, hey, my client Rachel told me to reach out. She said that you were looking for XYZ and that we'd be a good fit. That could be a great way to start a relationship too, as long as you have a reason, right? And one of the simplest ways to directly go into a sale with outbound is saying, hey, I was looking for 3 more people that want to get this specific outcome. Do you know anyone, or would you be open to that? What do you think about that? And just kind of exploring it with them. That's been really successful with the outbound method. Another way to do it, if you don't feel comfortable going super direct, is I had a client recently do this because he had a pretty small following and we were working together on this. And I said, because he's a personal trainer and he sells a really expensive, it's like a $6,000 for 16 weeks to not just work out and get stronger, but he can help people really eliminate pain and prevent surgeries and save them tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars across years of their lives, depending on their current condition. So I said, what if you just messaged everyone that follows you and offered them a free 7-day workout? And the reason why this is so effective for sales is because you're not focused on convincing them to work with you or directly sorting them by asking questions. You're sorting by compelling them to see if they're even in the market. And it's almost this idea of if they're interested in a free workout for 7 days, then they'd probably be a good fit to pay for coaching too, because they're picking up what you're putting down. And so Dean Jackson does this really, really well. I definitely recommend following him. He does a lot of this chat-based stuff through email as well. And his whole thing in the real estate market was giving people a valuation on their house. So to find people who are selling their house, all the other real estate agents are trying to sell their soul, work their neighborhood, be everyone's best friend, or just picking up the phone and outbounding, asking if someone's interested in selling their house, which is the most annoying way to find out if someone's selling their house.